Taehyung broke down in tears on a beach, clutching a golden white dog in his military uniform, as memories of his beloved Yeontan flooded back. What brought Taehyung to this emotional encounter? And how did it lead to a touching decision that's capturing hearts worldwide? Stay with us as we uncover this deeply moving news. You won't believe the beautiful surprise Taehyung shared at the end that's left everyone in tears of joy. Before we dive into this incredible story, I'd like to remind you to press the subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you don't miss out on our latest updates. On April 13, 2025, BTS Taehyung, known to the world as V, was spotted on a quiet beach in South Korea. His military uniform a striking contrast to the serene waves, as he held a golden white dog in his arms, tears streaming down his face. Overwhelmed by memories of his beloved Yeontan, Taehyung's emotional encounter touched the hearts of those around him, leading to a moment that would resonate with fans worldwide. What brought Taehyung to this beach? And what did he do next that left everyone in awe? Join us as we unravel this heartwarming tale, building up to a tear-jerking revelation that will leave you smiling through your tears. So stay with us to witness the depth of Taehyung's love. The coastline of Gangnam, a serene stretch of beach along South Korea's eastern shore, was bathed in the soft glow of the afternoon sun on April 13, 2025. The waves lapped gently against the shore, their rhythmic sound a soothing backdrop to the quiet beauty of the day, while seagulls soared overhead, their cries echoing in the salty air. The beach was nearly deserted, save for a few locals walking along the water's edge, their footprints trailing behind them in the sand. Amidst this tranquil scene, a lone figure in a military uniform appeared, his tall frame standing out against the horizon. It was Sergeant First Class Kim Taehyung, a member of the 2nd Infantry Division Special Duty Team, taking a rare moment of solitude during a brief leave. But what would bring Taehyung to this beach, and what emotional moment was about to unfold? Taehyung walked slowly along the shoreline, his military boots leaving deep imprints in the wet sand, his camouflage uniform slightly wrinkled from the day's activities. His beret was tucked into his pocket, allowing the sea breeze to ruffle his dark hair, and his deep brown eyes gazed out at the ocean, a faraway look in them as he took in the peaceful scene. The past months had been demanding, grueling training, long patrols, and the emotional weight of being away from his BTS brothers and army. But this moment by the sea offered a rare chance to breathe, to reflect. Taehyung's thoughts drifted to his family, his bandmates, and his beloved Yeontan, the tiny Pomeranian who had been his companion for years. The ache of missing Yeontan was a constant presence, a quiet longing that tugged at his heart. What would happen next to stir those emotions even more? As Taehyung walked further along the beach, his attention was drawn to a small figure darting through the sand, its golden white fur catching the sunlight in a way that made it almost glow. It was a dog, no larger than Yeontan, with fluffy fur and bright, curious eyes, its tail wagging furiously as it bounded toward Taehyung, a playful bark escaping its mouth. The dog's coat was a mix of golden and creamy white, its ears perked up as it ran, kicking up tiny clouds of sand with each step. Taehyung stopped in his tracks, his breath catching in his throat as he watched the dog approach, its resemblance to Yeontan so striking that it felt like a punch to the gut. Memories of Yeontan flooded back, his soft fur, his tiny barks, the way he'd curl up in Taehyung's lap after a long day. What would Taehyung do in the face of this unexpected encounter? The golden white dog reached Taehyung, its tiny paws skidding to a stop in the sand as it looked up at him, its head tilted in curiosity, its bright eyes meeting his with an innocence that mirrored Yeontan's. Taehyung crouched down, his movements slow and gentle, his hands trembling slightly as he reached out to the dog, his voice soft as he whispered, "Hey little one." The dog let out a happy yip, nuzzling against Taehyung's hand, its fur soft and warm against his skin. The touch was too much for Taehyung. Memories of Yeontan overwhelmed him, the pain of their separation crashing over him like a wave. Tears welled up in his eyes, spilling over as he scooped the dog into his arms, holding it close to his chest, his military uniform a stark contrast to the softness of the moment. "You remind me of him," Taehyung murmured, his voice breaking as he buried his face in the dog's fur, his tears soaking into its coat. What had brought Taehyung to such an emotional state, and how would this moment unfold? To understand the depth of Taehyung's reaction, we need to look at his bond with Yeontan, a tiny black and tan Pomeranian who had been his constant companion since 2017. Yeontan, whose name means coal briquette in Korean, had captured Taehyung's heart with his playful personality, his tiny barks, and his unwavering loyalty. Taehyung often shared Yeontan with ARMY, posting photos of him on social media, bringing him to events, and even featuring him in BTS content, making Yeontan a beloved part of the BTS family. But when Taehyung enlisted in the military on December 11, 2023, he had to leave Yeontan behind, a separation that weighed heavily on him. "He's my best friend," Taehyung had once said, his voice filled with love. How had this separation affected Taehyung, and why did this dog on the beach bring it all back? The golden white dog in Taehyung's arms seemed to sense his emotions, its tiny body wriggling closer as it licked his cheek, its wet nose brushing against his skin in a gesture of comfort. Taehyung let out a shaky laugh through his tears, his hands gentle as he stroked the dog's fur, his fingers tracing the soft contours of its ears, so similar to Yeontan's. "You're so sweet," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion as he sat down in the sand, the dog settling into his lap, its tail wagging happily. The dog's playful affection was a balm to Taehyung's aching heart, a reminder of the unconditional love he had always found in Yeontan. The waves continued to crash gently in the background, their sound a soothing counterpoint to Taehyung's quiet sobs. What would this moment mean for Taehyung, and who else was watching this tender scene? A short distance away, a local family walking along the beach noticed Taehyung and the dog, their steps slowing as they took in the sight of the soldier in uniform, tears streaming down his face as he held the small dog close. The family, a mother, father, and their young son, recognized the dog as their own, a stray they had recently taken in and named Sunny for its golden white coat. The mother, a kind woman named Taehyung, felt her heart ache at the sight of Taehyung's tears, her maternal instincts kicking in as she watched him. "He looks so sad," she whispered to her husband, her voice filled with empathy. Their son, a boy of about 6, tugged at her hand, his eyes wide with curiosity. "Why is the soldier crying, Mommy?" he asked, his voice soft. What would the family do, and how would they approach Taehyung? Jiyoung and her family decided to approach Taehyung, their steps careful as they walked toward him, not wanting to startle him in such a vulnerable moment. Taehyung looked up as they neared, his tear-streaked face softening into a small, embarrassed smile as he wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, the dog still nestled in his lap. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice hoarse as he stood, gently setting Sunny down in the sand. "I didn't mean to. He just reminds me of someone." Jiyoung smiled warmly, her eyes kind as she shook her head. "No need to apologize," she said, her voice gentle. "This is Sunny, he's ours. We found him a few weeks ago." Taehyung nodded, his eyes lingering on the dog as fresh tears welled up. What would Taehyung share with the family, and how would this encounter deepen? As the family stood with Taehyung, he opened up about Yeontan, his voice soft but filled with love as he spoke. "I have a dog back home, his name is Yeontan," he said, his eyes fixed on Sunny as the dog played in the sand, chasing a small wave. "He's a Pomeranian, and he looks so much like your Sunny. I haven't seen him since I enlisted, and I miss him so much." Jiyoung's heart ached at Taehyung's words, her own love for Sunny making her understand his pain. "I can't imagine how hard that must be," she said, her voice filled with sympathy. Her son Minho stepped forward, his small hand reaching out to pat Sunny. "Sunny makes me happy when I'm sad," he said, his voice bright. What impact would this shared moment have on Taehyung? Taehyung's interaction with Sunny and the family became a healing moment, a chance to release the pent-up longing he had carried for Yeontan. He knelt down again, his hands gentle as he stroked Sunny's fur, the dog's happy barks filling the air as it nuzzled against him. "Thank you for letting me hold him," Taehyung said to Jiyoung, his voice steadier now, though his eyes were still red from crying. "It means more than you know." Jiyoung smiled, her own eyes misty as she watched Taehyung with Sunny, the soldier's vulnerability touching her deeply. "You're welcome to visit him anytime," she said, her voice warm. Taehyung's heart swelled at the offer. What would he do with this newfound connection? As the family walked away, Taehyung sat back down in the sand, Sunny running off to chase a seagull, his golden white fur glowing in the sunlight. Taehyung watched the dog with a bittersweet smile, his thoughts drifting to Yeontan and the love they shared. The encounter had reminded him of the power of love, how it could heal, how it could connect people. even in the most unexpected moments. Taehyung thought about his military life, the discipline, the challenges, the separation, and how moments like this grounded him, reminding him of what mattered most. But what would Taehyung do next to honor this moment? Unbeknownst to Taehyung, a passerby had captured the moment on their phone, the sight of a soldier in uniform crying as he held a small dog too touching to ignore. The video was uploaded to X, quickly going viral with the hashtag Taehyung and Sunny trending worldwide. ARMY shared the clip with captions like, "Taehyung missing Yeontan, I'm sobbing," and "His love for dogs is so pure." Fans created edits, pairing the footage with soft music, their hearts breaking and healing at the sight of Taehyung's vulnerability. But how would this moment resonate on a deeper level? Back at the 2nd Infantry Division camp, Taehyung's comrades saw the viral video, their hearts swelling with empathy for their friend. "He loves that dog so much," Private Min-jae said, his voice soft as he watched the clip on his phone. "I can't imagine being away from my pets like that," Corporal Park added, his own eyes misty. The soldiers rallied around Taehyung, offering words of support when he returned, their bond deepening through this shared understanding. What would this mean for Taehyung's time at the camp? Inspired by the encounter, Taehyung made a quiet promise to himself as he sat by the sea, the waves whispering against the shore. He vowed to make more time for Yeontan once his military service ended, to cherish every moment with his beloved dog. "I'll never take you for granted again," he whispered, his voice carried away by the wind, a silent promise to Yeontan. The encounter with Sunny had rekindled Taehyung's longing, but it also gave him hope, a reminder of the love waiting for him. But what final act would Taehyung take to honor this moment? Days after the encounter, Taehyung reached out to Jiyoung's family, sending them a heartfelt letter and a small gift for Sunny, a plush toy shaped like a bone, along with a donation to a local animal shelter in Sunny's name. "Thank you for sharing Sunny with me," Taehyung wrote, his words filled with gratitude. "He reminded me of the love I have waiting at home, and I want to help other dogs find that love too." The family was moved to tears by Taehyung's gesture, and the news spread, leaving ARMY sobbing with pride. What would this mean for Taehyung's legacy of love? Taehyung's emotional encounter with a golden white dog on a beach in Gangneung on April 13, 2025, was a moment of raw vulnerability that touched hearts worldwide. From tears of longing for Yeontan to a heartfelt gesture for Sunny, Taehyung showed the power of love and healing, even in the midst of duty. As we celebrate his kindness, let's continue to support Taehyung on this journey. Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more BTS updates. As we wrap up this heartwarming story about Taehyung's emotional moment, we thank you, our amazing viewers, for joining us. Your support keeps us going, and we're so grateful to have you in our community. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to our next milestone, and we need your help. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update on BTS. Share your thoughts in the comments. How did Taehyung's love for Yeontan make you feel? If you loved this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow ARMY friends. We're committed to bringing you more thrilling, heartwarming content, but we can't do it without you. Let's keep this journey going together. Subscribe, like, comment, and stay tuned for more. Thank you for being the best fans ever. We'll see you in the next video.